right, DJ Gamma Ray for the first time in ever. RJ, you gotta come in and record this. We need guests. We about to shout out, or not shout out, but we about to come for 100K Day. Where is he at? Coco, where is she at? Corey, where is he at? Nina, where is she at? Everybody, where they at? We love it though. Are we do we have commercials? Oh, I don't have the hub radio on my phone because I got a new phone. Actually, Dre got two phones, don't he? Yo, Sally. Yo, Sally. Yo, Sally. Wait. Oh, Popeye? That's gonna add to the nigga element. I love it. I love it. Make sure they can see the logo. Can you find my phone? Where's my phone at? I really don't know where my phone is. Oh, you have it on yours? You can go live on that. It's okay, Dre. We'll pick up where you lacking. T, let us know when we're ready to go. Right. What were you gonna talk into? You know what you're here for? Do you know this is a radio show? DJ Gamma right here for the first. What is this show called? Live with the Hub Radio. I'm sorry. Yes, we're ready. We're good. Okay, RJ, are you good? Hey, what's up? I'm Jasmine Renee, and I'm here with the Hub Radio. Essentially, this is the Hub Radio. The Hub Radio Live. I'm here with Ali and DJ Gamma Ray, and we're here to talk about some current events coming to you to bring some just perspective on some things. But how have you guys been?
Living, busy as hell.
Right, busy.
Right.
Ever since the George Floyd thing, I've been busy as hell as well.
Yeah.
I think those of us that have been like active in the black community, we've been like super busy lately. So many people have been calling on us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So they're starting to like appreciate the work that we've been doing before, and are like, okay, well maybe we can bring you in on some more projects.
And the thing is, it's like we're the ones that they turn to and I think we had this conversation before. And it's crazy. Even when I was getting ready, getting dressed and everything, and my mom called, and she called and was like, "Oh, she's always sending me these videos and
Right.
things that she's learned,"
Yeah.
and I'm sitting there like, and the crazy thing is like, we are those people that everyone turns to and
Yeah.
wants to now have these conversations
Right.
with, and sometimes I don't want to have these.
It's a lot.
conversations.
I was at a graduation party. So mind you, the person that the party was for was much younger than me, or just younger, maybe not much. They were younger than me, so I'm sitting with a group of people, and they wanted to start talking about defunding the police. I'm sipping on Hennessy, so mind you, I've detached myself from the necessary work, which is that conversation about defunding the police.
Right.
So somebody is like, I don't think we should defund the police, and I'm sitting there like, you don't think we should defund the police?
Right.
I'm like, let me put this down. Let me explain to you something. When things are defunded and when money is taken away, that means that we handle the money that we've been given the right way. And I kind of broke down some examples, and she said, okay, I understand. And then I started drinking my Hennessy again. But I'm like, dang, people want to talk about this in every aspect. This is coming up in so many topics, but there's so many of us who have dedicated our lives to this work. We don't want to talk about it when we sipping on Hennessy. Like, I was literally like, are y'all for real? This is what y'all want to talk about. But then they may not have the spaces, so I was like, let me.
So you have to be conscious of that.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing. Like, I'm on the phone with my mom, and she wants to talk about these things, and I have to. I started getting frustrated and wanted to be like, I don't want to talk about this right now. But it was like, no, I don't get to do that.
Right, because we have the responsibility.
I have the responsibility.
What about you, DJ Gamma Ray? How's it been with you?
For me, it's just been just allocating resources, or people just coming to for different resources, or to point them in the right direction.
Right.
To link with the right people for things. That's always been a good role of mine. Just being able to connect.
Because you've also been to Africa, so do people attach your trip to Africa with you being like more woke or more conscious about things?
For sure, and because I was an Africana Studies major, you know, and
I love it.
In San Diego, I used to do a lot of protesting and all kind of organizing work, and like my mom was like, I expected you to be such and such, such and such. She called me one day like, are you? I'm like, nah, you know, it's different. Like I was even explaining to someone this time, I was like, I feel an obligation to be on the front lines, but then I also feel like this overwhelming sense of just no, I need to, step back. I don't know, it's weird.
Why do you feel that way though?
It's almost like a traumatic feeling. Like, yeah, that's the only way I can really describe it. It's like I'm not numb. Yeah, it's like I'm numb, but it's like I know I need to do something. I know that I've done things in the past. I know people are expecting me to do things, but it's like I can't move myself I can show up, support, participate, but I can't move myself right now in the space I am to be like the front runner or like the lead organizer myself.
Is very important.
Yeah.
So,
and I think even validating the feelings of black men is important, because I recently posted, which I thought was a very valid explanation. A black man has said, I am a mama's boy, but I never received love, the proper love from my mother. So whatever that may mean to him, and a black woman commented and said, that's weird. And I was like, I commented question marks. And she was just like, that's a weird complex to me. I just don't understand it. And I'm like, but we complain that our black men are not vulnerable, but you don't know if that black mother to him was on crack or if she just wasn't there. You don't know if she passed away, but when we see that on Twitter or we see just the statement, we think like, oh, it's not a thing. Like, oh, that's weird to me. But I think it's necessary for us to at least listen through. Like, if you say I'm a mother's boy, but my mother didn't give me that love, it's enough for me to just say, well, let me listen to why you feel like you didn't get that love. It's not a weird complex. So I think
instead of combating it with, oh, that's weird.
Right. Because because you really don't know what
at the end of the day,
what
you don't
the
understand,
mother's capacity was.
And honestly, that it's a very plausible thing, and it's actually more common than not, because if you think about it, I'm a mama's boy. That all that means is he's expressing that he loves his mother,
but his mother wasn't able to show up.
To love him and give him the care that he needed, and that's a very, especially with the rise of crack in the 80s. We got all these crack babies.
What about the people that procreated and made these crack babies?
Exactly.
They weren't able to show up.
I could probably relate to it too, because, or what he said is, even just outside of that, is like, I would think, oh, I'm a mama's boy because I love my mom, but me and my mom, we don't really hug that often. Or we just recently started saying, like, I love you more, just,
Oh, wow.
recently. But, like, I know my mom loves me, and she, she expresses it in different ways, but, like actually verbalizing, or actually, like hugging as much as we do now, I could see.
Why that's a thing, and I think we oftentimes don't allow black men to be in those spaces. Like, we expect for black men to be so strong all the time. We don't allow space for maybe us to hold the strong point of listening, because that's a strong position. You being able to listen and understand the plight of a black man, I think that's a strong point. But sometimes we just don't allow them to. And literally, that was a literal conversation I had on Twitter, and the female that had commented, she kind of got, like, aggressive about it. And, like, the black man essentially had to protect me and say, like, yo, you're being rude to her.
When this was a space for him.
Right. When he was the one that needed some type of compassion, he was just, like, he had to step up and he essentially protected me and was like, yo, we not having that on our post. I just made a post, and it is what it is. But it's like, damn, like, you literally don't know. This man is a grown man. So let's say he's 30-something years old. You do not know what 30 years of his life has been with his mother.
And his feelings are valid.
And it's real. We as daughters can feel a way towards our fathers. We can feel a way towards our mothers.
Absolutely.
We as black women tend to talk about it a little more. We can go into spaces and
we have, like you just said, we have space, and it's accepted when we want to be expressive. So black men don't have that same community
space.
They don't have that same space.
Especially in the face of, I won't say that black men don't allow it, but I think if you do get into a room of genuine black men, they will allow the conversation to happen. But when you're just, like, on the surface, so, like, we can be as black women and be talking about whatever, be drunk, be sipping on something, and be like, ooh, I'm going to talk about this, about the way that my mother treated me. And it can be an open conversation. Now, with men, it may be like, boy, you better suck it up. Like, we ain't talking about that today.
Right.
But I think there has been more space for black women, and there hasn't been enough space for black men. But I feel like it should be, because the same way we as black women have went through things, I think that's a tough thing to deal with, the way your mother maybe did not show up for you as a black boy. Because I know with my brothers, if my mom wasn't there for them, I see the way they physically interact with my mother. I see the way that they emotionally react to my mother.
I was saying, not having a mother is extremely traumatic.
Yeah, to both children.
For both children.
Yeah.
But I don't want to say one is worse than the other, but that absent, I think, of a mother across the board, like that mother figure, is a lot. And there's a lot of our people in our culture, because of all the things that we've been disenfranchised from, that we deal with these kind of things. Which, like, I've been seeing a lot of things about giving free therapy for black men.
Yeah, I saw you post that.
I love it, and I just wish that therapy.
You need to hook up, because Ali posted it. Go look in your archives and send it to DJ Gamper.
I'm going to find it, and I'm going to send it to you, because they're giving free
therapy for black men.
And I'm like, yes, I wish more people would post it.
You got like 10 Instagrams.
Oh, no. Did you try to shoot? Like, no. I love how you said that we need to not compare. I think a lot of times the conversation when it comes to, like, the divide between black men and black women, we compare. Well, what money do we make, or how do we survive in this aspect? But it's like, no, black women are suffering, black men are suffering. It doesn't need to be compared. It needs to be fixed.
Exactly.
And that's my thing too, where it's like, I have a lot of conversations with women, and they're trying to say, like, well, the black woman's experience is worse than the black man's, but it's like, at the end of the day, if we can collectively build bricks to fix each other's experience, then we don't even need to compare. We'll get better as a collective. But a lot of times, like, even you look at the So George Floyd's situation happened May 25th. So now we're at what, July 1st.
Mm-hmm.
So the first 2 weeks started as like black people being all together, and then you had black people, you had like trans black people that were like advocating for whatever, and then you had black women that were saying, oh well, black men do this to us, and then you had black men that were like, well, we still need to be heard. So now instead of us all fighting against white people, you have different groups of black people all fighting against each other, and we've all lost the power of fighting against the oppressor or
Right.
fighting just for us to be okay. But it's like, that's kind of that sense of like the white man going and saying like the dog fight type of thing. If you teach two dogs to fight, essentially you don't need to be there for them to fight. They'll fight on their own. So now you have white people that are posing to say Black Lives Matter, but they're like, look at the black people. They're so divided. So I think it's a thing of us needing to, like, black men, y'all gotta work on yourselves. Black women, we have to work on ourselves, and at some point we have to come together, but the pointing of the fingers is
Right.
not what's helping us.
Right.
We're not getting there.
No,
So-
it's the unification is what we need, and that's, I mean, but the thing is, we have so many years of divisiveness
Yeah, we
being
do.
implanted in us.
Right.
So I feel like we're coming together. It's definitely not as unified as we need to be, but it's systematic division.
Yeah.
So we have to. It's not gonna come. We're not gonna all be holding hands like, you know what? I mean, we are. A lot of us are.
Yeah.
We're making progress.
There's a lot of people I was like, yo, you proud to be black?
Yeah. Right. Oh, now
For real? You proud to be black?
Okay.
I was like, okay, well, they posting a lot. Okay, I didn't know.
Right.
I didn't know you identified as black.
Right, this has awakened a lot of people that
Yeah.
have been kind of dormant, and now
Yeah.
they're reaching out like, hey, I want to know about my history. Like, I don't.
Right.
And there are a lot of people also, which is why it's very important for us not to shut people down when they start expressing themselves, regardless of how they sound, because a lot of people are actually embarrassed by the lack of
Yeah.
information that they have.
That's
The fact that they
true.
don't know. Well,
Yeah.
I don't, and they don't feel comfortable go ask someone because
Yeah.
they know they should know it. So that's on us
Yeah.
to be that that open door
Yeah.
and to welcome them in. But I'm
Yeah.
seeing, even, I don't know if you posted it, but I saw it on a couple people. You did post it. It said, "Fuck you if you just started
I
caring about
posted
Black
that.
Lives
Yes.
on 2020."
So if you started caring this year, it's a middle finger
But
to you.
that's
I'm
not right
sorry.
though.
And
It's not,
And
because they
it's
could have kept
a
not
middle
caring.
finger, but don't let my middle finger push you away from doing the
No,
work.
it should
Now,
That's not
I'm-
no. No.
But you saying
No.
no to the middle
No.
finger?
I'm saying
Yeah.
no that should never have been posted.
What do you
Period.
mean? Oh,
Because
to fuck you to the middle, to
yes,
the people.
like, we don't need that.
But my thing is, like I said, it's a middle finger. It's a fuck you. But don't let me being upset, because at the end of the day, if I've been in your life as a black woman, you should have understood the importance of my life.
But there are
Now,
some people that may have had some. But,
I think
but this is the
Muhammad
thing. No,
Malcolm
hold
X
on.
said, you didn't always know what you knew.
Exactly.
And that makes us understand. So I understand that point, and I will be gracious to you. But at the end of the day, it's like, it's still fuck you if you didn't think. Now, it's not fuck you indefinitely. It's fuck you for right now, because you
But they
didn't
can't-
think
they
that my
literally say-
life.
But they care now.
But
and
I'll
you're telling
sit.
them
But
now.
I will sit with you. I'll sit with you, and
So
we can
fuck
work
you,
through
but
things.
we can talk.
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
We can talk. We can talk, but it's still fuck you, because, damn, you didn't look at me before and say that I
A
matter.
lot of people didn't.
And
Not
I
all
understand
people
that,
would-
but it's still fuck you. You can paint the street, but I need you to make legislation happen. It's still fuck you, though. We're going to go to commercial. Shout out to the Hub City Dre, the Hub City Dre.
Yeah, of course,
He
yeah.
has some new shirts coming out. Well, the Hub Radio essentially has some new shirts coming out for Unity, pushing for black and brown unity. So shout out to them. Make sure you get your shirt. Hit the link. Go to the website, hit the link, and go order your shirt.
Hubradio.net.
Yes. Apparently, they will be at your doorstep rather quick when you order. But yeah, we are. Are we heading out? We're heading out. Commercial time. This is such a Is Dre mad?
Yeah, he's busting her leg.
With strong values, strong character, work ethic, and great leadership. I mean, what is there not to love? From black love to brown pride, we watch each other's struggles as we share similar scars from common obstacles. We stand in solidarity, united behind the goal of creating a better quality of life within our shared community. Compton. Hub City Love, Hub City Pride. The Hub Radio.
Hey, it's your girl Coco,
And it's your boy KO.
and we have a special announcement for you guys.
Let them know.
All right, welcome to Coco and KO's Local Taste.
We're here to let y'all know where to go for the best local eateries in the Southern California area and have fun at the same time.
That's right, y'all. We have teamed up to bring y'all the best of the best locals. Okay, so follow us on this journey as we tell y'all who to taste and who to waste.
Whenever you're ready. Don't start shit.
The siren. 45, 47.
45, 47.
45, 47.
45, 47. 45,
45,
47. 45, 47.
Coco and KO's Local Taste. They will be going
They're
not live,
tomorrow.
but they
Tomorrow.
their
Episode
first
drops
episode will be
tomorrow.
airing tomorrow, right,
5
Corey?
p.m.
Yes, and they'll be trying out chicken sandwiches all over the city, essentially.
09:26.
Ooh. But yeah, they'll be trying out chicken sandwiches. So
I'm just-
when I saw some of the cuts, I was like, dang, let me go get chicken sandwiches. Only thing is, I'm vegetarian, so I can't eat none of them. So hopefully they do like a vegetarian take at one point.
Top 10 vegan.
Yes, but I want to switch gears a little bit from food to the meetings that have happened this week. So Ali, I know you were in a meeting with Villanueva.
Yeah, Monday, the city of Compton hosted a Zoom meeting
Yes.
with Sheriff Villanueva, and it was all of the city council and a city manager and the city attorney. So I joined the meeting was quite extensive and lengthy, of course.
Yeah, quite extensive and quite lengthy.
Yeah, it was quite lengthy. And the crazy thing is, and the captain, the black woman that we have
So
as the
she's
captain.
the captain, because I did an episode on the podcast and I didn't know what to exactly call her.
Yeah.
But so she's a captain.
Isn't her name Clark?
Captain Clark.
It's Captain Clark.
Captain Clark.
Right. And honestly, I don't know what exactly I expected, but it was extremely frustrating to watch because it's like, especially when Jasmine, I know you know about what's been going on behind the scenes, and I mean, shit, we see what's going on with the officers. So it was just, he was making comments as if, like he just is so aware and he's so for making change, and our officers do great things all the time, and those things don't get publicized.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay,
You wanna cook
it's like you're not answering any of the questions. You're not addressing any
It's
of our
a slap in
concerns.
the face.
It was a complete slap in the face. And then Captain Clark was there, and she was just a puppet master. I mean, not even a puppet master. Sorry, he's the puppet master.
Yeah, she's
the puppet.
Right.
And just watching it, it's just like people blowing smoke up your ass. Like they're not answering the question. They're just blowing fluff.
Yeah.
And then trying to make it seem like they're just, but we're here to help, right? So Compton was under the impression, everyone on the DS was under the impression that because the sheriffs right now do not wear body cams. They're not required to, blah blah blah, but they're getting them.
I didn't know that.
No. They don't. The LAPD does, but the sheriffs don't. So they're supposed to be getting body cams. Compton was supposed to be in the first rollout, especially you think so after our sheriffs just killed someone.
Right.
We should probably be at the top of the list
For body cam.
for body cams. So we're now number 6 on the list. We were supposed to be in the top 5, but now the first 5 are getting rolled out first. And I think they said City of Industry, and I forget the other cities that they named. But they get to have their body cams first because they have updated technology. So the City of Compton and the DS was like, wait, there was never any notice that went out that said like, hey, if you update, you're going to be in the back burner, or your technology, any of that has a, because they were saying we could have made provisions to update it. We would have done what we needed to do to get those body cams. So they were told previously that they were going to be the first ones. Now they're like, no, you'll be on the second rollout. So now they're working to get that in writing. But it was a bunch of bullshit. It was a bunch of bullshit.
That's unfortunate that we can't get answers from people that are supposed to be in high power, and I think it just goes to like us. I really feel because I have been orchestrating this call with District Attorney Jackie Lacey, and my thing is, even if we don't essentially go and vote for Jackie Lacey, we'll essentially be able to get information so that we can go and seek out another candidate that in 4 years will be good for that position. I think we as black people so much, I think, Angela Davis said something to the extent of like, there can be no abolition without reimagination. And I think even when you look at Black Lives Matter, now Black Lives Matter is something that I don't necessarily identify with, and y'all can go and quote that and take it wherever you want to.
There's a difference between Black Lives Matter, the movement, and Black Lives Matter, the organization.
Wait, so what do you mean? Explain that for me.
There's an organization, Black Lives Matter.
The national. You talking about a national level of Black Lives Matter?
Okay, no, I'm explaining. Like I said, the movement of Black Lives Matter, that is not the same as the organization.
Which
Black
I think they literally just had good marketing tools when they picked the name, because Black Lives Matter, no black person is gonna say, I don't think that that's a good statement, So I as a black person cannot, like you said, I can disassociate myself with the actual organization, but can still rock with the movement. So what I'm saying is, I don't agree with the organization. The movement of us saying Black Lives Matter, I do agree with.
And everything that Black Lives Matter, the movement is pushing for, we're all collectively, because we all want, it's all the movement.
The movement, but the organization I have
different
issues with, and even with the call with Jackie Lacey, I think there's been a lot of irresponsibility. There hasn't been a lot of clearness in terms of where we're supposed to go with that. But it's like education. Now, I may want to talk to her, or even want to talk to George Gascon, who is her running mate for District Attorney for Los Angeles. But at the end of the day, what I'm thinking about is, you're not serving me, and that's completely okay, and I want to abolish your term, essentially. But how can I what information can you give me? Because Jackie Lacey has been in office for 8 years. So that's 8 years of information, whether she's bullshitted or not. That's 8 years of information that we can get as a community that can force us to be able to put forth a candidate that's worth voting for. So now we don't have a Trump and a Biden. We have a black person that's worth voting for, or a person that's worth voting for, and then we have the devil, rather than voting for the better, for the worst of two devils.
That was a mouthful. So Jackie Lacey has been in office for 8 years.
Yeah.
And how many people how many officers has Jackie Lacey prosecuted?
None, really.
None.
Right.
So why should we give her another 4 years? Let me finish my question. If we've already seen what she's done for 8 years, what do you think is going to be different in these next 4?
Well, I never said to. I'm not pushing nobody to vote for her. I'm saying if
But
you look at the
just
facts.
said that you'd rather have another 4-year wait to have Jackie maybe vote for a black woman that we can maybe do something with, and then in 4 years get a better candidate.
Well, this is what I'm saying. No, I was saying in terms of information. So even if Jackie Lacey doesn't get voted in after November, even if George Gascon gets voted in, but we still have conversations with Jackie Lacey because she has 8 years in office, and we still get the information.
Absolutely.
So that's what I'm saying, that no matter who gets voted in, but we still have the relationship with Jackie Lacey. That's 8 years of information that's able to help us. And we don't have to say, like, oh, well, Jackie Lacey, we're trying to groom the next candidate.
Information like what?
Well,
Because
regardless,
hold on,
but
because
regardless of what
let
she's
me answer
done.
my question.
Yeah.
My question is, what information do we? I mean, because I'm all for the call,
Yeah.
and I'm because there's always something to be learned from it.
Yeah.
But we don't need Jackie Lacey. Like, what information can she give us that we can't go online or go into a database and get
Well,
ourselves?
how things are done.
Yeah, I don't think
I'm
it's
sorry. Go ahead,
necessarily
Gino.
that you
You
need
can-
her.
We don't need her.
But what she is saying is, since you have her there and she has
Oh,
that,
yeah,
you can
absolutely.
use her.
But then you started to go into like Biden, Trump, and keeping
Because
this person.
because I'm saying I went into Biden and Trump because I'm saying we as black people have said for so many years, let's pick the lesser of two evils. So then I said in 4 years from now, what if we take the information that we got from Jackie Lacey, not her saying how she went, but just her explaining the system of what she was in. She explains that to us and we take that information. Now we're able to explain the game to a possible candidate. So if Allie, if you are a possible candidate for a district attorney, we can get behind you and say, Jackie Lacey says she couldn't do X, Y, and Z because of this, that, and the other. So we're explaining this information to you. So I'm saying instead of us having a Biden and a Trump, we have a Trump and a Allie, but we're saying this Allie is not the lesser of two evils. Allie is the good. We in America or even in California have not voted on the good. We voted on the lesser of two evils. But if Allie can get in office, we are voting on the good that Allie is promising us. So that's what I meant when I'm saying the Trump and Biden, because I feel like Trump and Biden, there's no good there. There's just the lesser of two evils. Because we as black people have had no voice in what Biden has done. We as black people have had no voice in what Trump has done. But if we can sit on calls with people that have been district attorneys, whether they did good or bad, but we can play the role and utilize them and use them and say, okay, I just want to get information. I take the information that District Attorney Lacey has given me, and I go and say, well, District Attorney Lacey has said this. Now, Allie, I know I want you to run in 4 years. I need you to make sure you combat this.
Right.
Now I've built up, and now I can go and say GJ Gamma Ray. I can go and say RJT. We're voting for the good that Allie is.
Right.
We're not voting
Absolutely.
off of the devil.
No, we definitely being on the call and getting that information. 1,000%.
Right.
The more informed we are, then when those other candidates do come about, we are able. They're not able to blow smoke over our ass.
And we can
We know that-
empower other people, so we can go
Not so-
get
not so
other
much just that-
prosecutors
Yes.
that are worthy of being in district attorney positions and say,
Absolutely.
hey, I know you're just a prosecutor, but have you thought about being a district attorney? Because you're active in the community. The community
This
knows
is how we
you.
create our own leaders.
I have power.
Absolutely.
Allie has power.
This
DJ
is how we
Gamma
create
Ray.
our own
If
leaders.
us three go and push
Absolutely.
you, now we can say, because we've had conversations in the first year with DA Lacey, we can in 4 years imagine what we can do in 4 years.
No, yeah, absolutely.
T has something to say.
I was just gonna say, this is how we can empower our black people that are in those positions. They know at this point that they have our support.
Right.
At this point, they don't have our support.
No.
They're one black person, I'm talking about Compton, they're one black person against 80 others, whether it be Hispanic or white.
Right.
But they have us, this one black person, to back them up to where they can say, okay, this is where I'm going with it.
Right.
But if we're not involved, if
Yeah.
we're
Oh
not,
yeah, no, you already know. You don't have to preach that to me. I get that. I get that part.
And that's
But
what I think it
it's
is our job for you as Allie, who is involved, and me as Jasmine, who has has a responsibility. We have to get involved and bring other people along so that when it does come in 4 years, if I'm bringing people along for 4 years, I'm doing the work. In 4 years, I can say, no, it's not a Trump or Biden, but it's a Trump. And like I said, it's a Trump or it's an ally. Don't vote for Trump. But Ally has sat in meetings with us in intimate settings and promised us X, Y, and Z. Not only promised
She's
us, but
with us
she's
in the fight.
acted.
No, yeah, she's
Right.
with
So
us in
it's
the fight.
now
She's there,
no
they're at the
longer
table.
the
No,
lesser of
absolutely.
two evils, but it's what's good and what's
I
bad.
agree.
versus
I
what's
agree.
bad.
Right. I agree to that extent that we need to create our own leaders. We
Yeah.
need to start developing in these
Right.
next 4 years, 2 years in some cases.
2 years.
We need to
Developers
be
are
developing our own leaders, and yes, from the ground up, like have
Like
these-
literally, these conversations need to be our ground and framework.
We have to recognize these leaders. though.
Right.
Right.
We have to talk. We can't take the position which Black Lives Matter has taken. I'm not going to talk to you. I'm not going to sit at the table with you. That's the position.
That's what they've been
openly
taking.
taken.
I get
They
so-
don't
Yeah.
sit down with law enforcement.
They don't.
I'm not going to
Oh.
even argue with you. This is a
They
no
haven't
big
even
draw.
sat down
Yeah,
with
I
Jackie
don't agree.
Lacey
I don't agree
because
with that
they
at
don't
all.
want
Because
Jackie.
there's always information.
They won't sit
I learned
down.
no, because even with when we did the Game Changer meeting,
Yeah.
like I was sitting there, I left with a headache, absolutely, but
Absolutely.
I'm
Absolutely.
frustrated, irritated, all of that,
And I
but I
talked-
still gained knowledge.
Right, and I
Right.
talked to a police officer. He's reached out to me on various occasions on like via social media, but he'll mention Black Lives Matter and he'll say, "Well, Black Lives Matter doesn't do X, Y, and Z." But my thing was, like you said, if I'm on a Game Changer, and shout out to Game Changers, if I'm on a Game Changer call, do you think I identify with Black Lives Matter because Black Lives Matter doesn't talk to law enforcement?
No,
I know when I'm
refuse
going
to.
into a Game Changers call that I'm going to be talking to law enforcement. So I had to challenge him. Like, the thing with Jackie Lacey, I've been saying this all week. Jackie Lacey essentially has not met with black people. Now, she has not physically or verbally said, I'm not meeting with black people.
Right.
She has not met with black people because of the hostile, when I tell you, hostile relationship between Black Lives Matter and Jackie Lacey. She has refused to meet with black people because she feels like any black group that's going to come up to her is going to be backed by Black Lives Matter. And Black Lives Matter has physically put her in situations that are very compromising of her safety.
Come on, yes.
So for me, when I heard that, there's
I'm just saying,
Jackie Lacey.
You're just really going to
If
bat for
somebody-
Jackie Lacey
No,
right
no,
now.
no, I'm not.
Like,
No,
we
I'm
need
not
to
going to
know.
back. Right, I'm not going to back. I'm not going to back for Jackie
It's-
Lacey. But what I am going to speak to is the irresponsibility in activism. As activists, we have a responsibility to make sure our voices are heard.
Absolutely.
I cannot, if I'm as a man am charging an older black woman and I'm physically charging her, she ain't gonna hear me. And when I pull up to her house, of course her
At
husband is
2
gonna pull
a.m.
out a
in the
gun.
motherfucking morning.
At 5:30, of course her husband is gonna pull out.
but
That's
but
irresponsible
to
activism.
take that and be like, well, Jackie Lacey doesn't like meeting with black people because of
No.
these hostile
So no,
encounters.
I'm saying no. I'm saying she didn't say that, but essentially because people that are not attached to Jackie Lacey have brought up to me and the work that I've done and said, well, Black Lives Matter does this and that and the other, and have assumed that because I'm a black activist,
They bad. You
so
don't get a
that's
pass
but
from me
that's
for
what I'm
that.
saying. Where
Because
Jackie
every black
Lacey,
person is not the same.
but listen, this is what I'm saying. With Jackie Lacey, they have physically like this is on YouTube. This is available to the public. Men have physically charged her at debates. Physically.
I ran up on her in
So
her
as her husband,
But why are you
of
guys
course-
talking and sounding like that's something that should have
Can I say
never
something?
been done?
no,
Well,
I'm
T
saying,
has-
hold on, but before T
Yo,
says something,
both y'all need to chill out for a
no,
second.
because this is what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah,
If
I
I'm
know.
married
Yeah,
to
y'all-
a
y'all
man,
real hype.
wait, T, if I'm Allie, I'm sorry. If I'm married to a man, and we know if I go because you guys did a candidates forum, right?
Mm-hmm.
That candidates forum was peaceful. The candidates forum with Jackie Lacey, and I'm not saying it's to Jackie Lacey, I'm saying to anybody that's on that stage.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody charges me at the candidates forum and I go back home and I have this family, right? If them same people come to my household, my husband better come out with a fucking gun.
No one's saying that's wrong.
So that's what I'm
But
saying
that
is,
has nothing to do, like, what I'm saying is that has nothing to do with all black people.
wait, what do you?
Wait,
No,
wait
but
a minute.
but let's
Why
be
does
clear.
the other stuff have to do with all black people? But in this case, when you come to her fucking house in the early morning,
So
that
now
does not
she
has
has
to do with
a.
black
So
people.
now she
Wait a
has
minute.
the.
Black
She has a
lives-
right to,
Black
does she have not a right to
lives
pull out her
matter
gun?
does not take
I
that
don't. That's
position.
not the part of the conversation.
But no,
That's
No,
not-
but-
you said that. You said that just now.
No, I want to
didn't.
wait. Ali,
No, Black
say your
Lives
point.
Matter says that though.
Say your
Black
point
Lives
though,
Matter
Ali.
said-
What is your
You
what
guys,
is your point?
I don't even want to anymore because y'all keep over talking me.
No,
Like, for
I'm
what-
giving you the chance.
No,
to say your point.
I don't even remember it at this point because that was what you guys are talking about right now was not what I said, nor was it my point.
No, but that's why I'm asking you to say your point.
You said what you were going to, what it sound like, and what I said was, why does it sound like you're going to bat for Jackie Lacey? Because you were saying that black people are always, she doesn't even want to meet with black people because Black Lives Matter is so hostile to her. I don't give a fuck. I really don't. I don't give a fuck how Black Lives Matter comes at Jackie Lacey. I don't give a fuck if they go outside her house and her husband comes out. Okay, yeah, that was supposed to happen, but that's a separate incident. So yeah, you Jackie Lacey still do need to sit down with black people regardless.
Right, but essentially she is. We have a call on Monday.
Yeah, we do.
How do you feel about DJ Gamoray?
Yes, she does still have an obligation to sit down with black people, but I think what we're trying to get the point across here is that because Black Lives Matter has tainted it for like everybody, so it's like
They don't know.
if-
You don't get to. Nope.
Yeah.
You don't get to say, well, Black Lives Matter did
No.
this, so this
No,
is gonna
but
happen.
not-
That doesn't.
I
That
didn't say
doesn't
that.
need to happen.
So not
because if
that.
a white group does that,
Right.
and a white racist Nazi group does that and gets into it with them, they're not gonna say, well, you know what? I'm really cautious of meeting with
But-
these other white groups because they might be.
No,
They're not doing that.
Not
Go
cautious,
ahead, DJ
but
Gamoray.
if I know that Black Lives Matter does that, and T wants to meet with me, I'm not for certain that
Oh,
T is
you-
associated with them.
Why? Because she's black.
I'm not going to.
And it's
I'm not
situ-
going
and like
to-
I
I'm
said,
not
this
going to
is not
engage.
right.
You know,
This is not.
I'm
You
a
don't
I'm
get
a
to do
politic.
that. You don't get to do that.
But
Politicians
essentially,
love to
but
do that.
Ali, like I said, and I wanted to make this very clear, these are not the words of Jackie Lacey. Jackie Lacey has not said she will not
Right,
meet
but
Black
if my
Lives
point
Matter.
is, see, like, why, like that, all of this, like, why? Why are we talking about that right now? Why are
What
we talking
about her?
about
Because
how
at the
Black
end of
Lives
the day,
Matter
you
is,
made
and because 1,000%, all it sounds like is you coming at Black Lives Matter because they're so hostile, and this is why Jackie Lacey. I don't give, like, why are we having that conversation?
No,
as
that's-
if she's somebody to be that we should protect.
Shoot.
Get
Oh, hold on,
from
hold
her.
on.
Get
that's
from
a
her
new,
ass to the
no,
dogs.
no, hold on. That's a new conversation because I think as black people, there's a different level of code that we have to go about charging each other with. Now, you talking about LA Times, they've done shit in city council meetings with Jackie Lacey. Okay, whatever. You've done shit in the face of LA Times with the mass group that they've had that has that has viewed the shit that they have, or the mass people that have been there present as an audience for their shit. Black people sat there. Black Lives Matter, I won't even say black people, Black Lives Matter specifically had about 15 people in that room that would not let Jackie Lacey say a word. But when the white man talked, because we were talking about that earlier,
Yes, ma'am.
when you have killers in the hood that will sit up here and act right and sit up straight, when police come, they will let the white man talk, and this other woman that's an Arab or whatever she is, they'll let her talk. But when Jackie Lacey wants to talk, it's black people that are preventing her from talking. Now, also, Jackie Lacey has said, and this is not, I'm not backing Jackie Lacey, but I'm just laying down facts. Jackie Lacey has said, I will sit with the organizers of Black Lives Matter. But because of the shit that y'all have done in the spaces of other people, I'm not going to your space to sit with a group of community people and not just a few people, because you guys have proven to be hostile in other environments. But I will sit with the leadership, and Black Lives Matter turn that shit down. So why, as the leaders of Hub Radio, why can't Ali, T, me, Corey, DJ Gamoray, and Dre go sit with Jackie Lacey?
If we want to, fine. That's literally what we're doing. But what
No,
does
but
it
Jackie,
matter?
but Black Lives Matter said no. We need it to be an
Oh.
event. But if you're
Okay.
trying to push for
Can I talk?
change,
Can
We want the conversation, period. Go ahead, T.
The conversation is necessary.
Whether
No one's saying it's not. No one's saying it's not
I don't want
necessary.
you to get on the defense, but the conversation is necessary.
Listen,
because every
T,
white
we're not
person,
going to have this
every
conversation.
white person,
we're not.
every
We're done.
person,
We're
Mexican
done.
person,
Because
black
you're
person.
not. We're done.
Wait, no,
don't talk.
No, because you're
This
not.
is my first time talking.
Because
no, this
we're
is my
done.
time.
Because
Wait,
you're
wait.
not.
Let's wait.
Stop.
No.
Okay, but listen.
It's my
don't-
time
okay,
talking
but don't
now.
put words in my mouth.
I'm
then.
not putting words in
You
my
are.
mouth. It's
You
my
are.
time
How
to
many
talk.
times have
Wait.
I said that
It's
it's
my
important to
time to
organize?
talk.
How
That's
many
not.
times-
I didn't discriminate
How
against
many-
what you
but
said.
okay, but did
Wait,
I
no,
never
let's
say
just
that
no, let's
it
just
is
let
important-
T
It's the
talk.
bullshit I'm
No.
talking about.
No, let's just
What
let.
bullshit
Wait,
I'm
hold
talking
on.
about?
Let
Position
hold
that
on.
we take.
For the sake of the show, let's let T talk. Go ahead, T.
This is the position that we take. You done talk the whole time. This is not my show.
Right,
This your show.
right,
So the moment I get an opportunity to say something different from yours, it's a problem.
right.
We
Wait,
as
hold on.
black people, we so quick, so quick to jump on the other side of shit.
Yeah,
Instead of stopping a moment, that's what Black Lives Matter did
yeah.
with her. Yeah, the bitch fucked up. I'm not with her.
She
I'm not
did,
promoting her.
and
She
I agree
fucked
with
all
that.
the way up.
Yeah.
But just like we do with the mayor, she's the first black woman to take this motherfucking position. But all of a sudden now we mad. Wait a minute. Let's address this shit.
Yeah.
Let's not make it personal. It wasn't a personal position that I took. It's a clear, factual position.
Knowledge is
This is the
power.
first-
Knowledge
knowledge
is
is
power.
motherfucking
And when
power.
did I say different?
No, but hold
But
on.
I didn't
Let's
say
see.
different from you.
No,
You
but
said
let's
Why
see.
you got
Hold
so
on.
animated?
Okay.
Okay.
Her,
Okay.
she's not about
Okay.
you.
Okay.
Okay, wait.
I'm
Go.
all involved. You can. I'm in the position to where I'm sitting on conversations,
Okay.
you Zooms and all that type of shit.
Okay.
I'm before everybody else was involved.
Right.
I've been pushing the law enforcement position for 2-3 years right now.
Okay.
Now all of a sudden everybody wants to get involved and get informed and like, oh, let's get involved. Let's voice our opinion. Oh no, before that we were mad because I'm getting pulled over. I'm being handled like this.
Right.
I'm being disrespected by this. But nobody wanted to address what the behind the scenes factor is.
Right. So
I'm addressing.
go
I don't
ahead.
have a strong
Ally.
extra opinion to put nobody down. I'm with the facts,
Right.
the truth, and what's real. So
Go
don't
ahead, Ally.
come like that.
Go
don't
ahead,
do
Ali.
that.
Don't do what?
Don't do
No,
what you just
not
did.
no, not
Okay.
that. No, explain your point though. With the point that you had.
We're done. I'm done.
Okay, so yeah, I think like T said, Jackie Lacey is to be, she
Held
is to
accountable.
be faulted. She is to be called out, and she is to be called out against what's wrong. But I also think we as black people move in morals, and policy doesn't consist of morals. A lot of times we believe, oh, you should have prosecuted X, Y, and Z because of morals, but we don't understand policy. So a question that I would ask Jackie Lacey is if she really gives a fuck about the community, how do we affect policy? How do we affect the ramifications of which she can go after people, of which she can prosecute people? Because at the end of the day, I think we as black people, just like with the Minneapolis cop, they train him to put their knee on that man's neck. That's policy. So he is by law, he's allowed to do so. But we as black people move in morals, and it's not a problem. But we also have to move in morals, and we have to move in policy. So I think that's something that we should definitely take into understand. But in no way, shape, or form are we saying Jackie Lacey is above reproach. She's done. She's wrong. But also, I want you to understand George Gascon, who is her running mate. If he were to get in office in 2 years, we'll be complaining about the same shit that we're complaining about Jackie Lacey because it's system, it's not person. And Jackie Lacey is being attacked as a person. I'm not protecting sis. I'm not protecting her. But what I'm saying is system, and we need to attack system rather than attacking Jackie Lacey. Because Jackie Lacey could be out of office in November. And then we got another person to attack. But if we attack system and we vote on policy, we vote on laws, we vote on legislation.
Literally, it is the person because Jackie Lacey is the prosecutor. So she is able to file charges, and she has not. So if we have someone else, that is the body. That's not the system.
Who's
The
openly saying I don't fuck with you, who's openly saying that all the videos that you've shown to me, I don't agree with. It's like
George Gascon.
It's between
George
them.
Gascon also has been a district attorney in San Francisco, and his record is not
But that's a whole
progressive at
different
all.
conversation.
But
We
it's
didn't even
two
get
people.
into that.
Well, let's bring it
It's
back.
only two
You got a
people.
commercial for us, Corey? Is this is T giving masks at the beginning of the pandemic. Shout out to Pull Up Neighbor, something like that. That's the organization that had came out and they had helped the city give out masks. We were in the one of Compton's Plaza. 'Cause Compton has a lot of
Downtown.
plazas.
Yeah.
We were in Compton's Plaza over there off of
Compton Boulevard.
Alameda and Compton Boulevard.
That's it.
And we were giving out masks. So shout out. And Dave was the one that made this video. So shout out to them. We're going to go to commercial real quick and we're going to come back with Allie talking about the thing that she was just talking about. Because I kind of forgot. No, what were we?
And you have Black Lives Matter, and
we're back.
condemning Black Lives Matter
And we're back.
for how they have
And we're back.
treated
Hub
Jackie
Radio
Lacey, or
Live.
how
Where's
they
RJ?
approach her, or the things
RJ?
that they've done, and I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that part. I don't give a fuck if they go outside her
And we're
house
back
they
live
kill
with
that
Allie.
motherfucker. I don't give a fuck if they killed that bitch. I really wouldn't have.
Wait.
Are we on?
Wait. Yes.
And we're back. So, in closing, we just want to sit
Well,
9 o'clock.
Allie was saying that she didn't get if whatever. I will say, because there are other people out there that think like that. I do care that at the removal of the title that Jackie Lacey is a black woman. Now I understand that there's people that will bring up respectability politics.
Mhm.
This is not respectability politics. I think this is just respect and being effective. One thing that I pushed in the email that I sent today, because we do have a call with Jackie Lacey, is that I want to be effective. Now, if a black man is charging a black woman, that removes the effectability of what we're trying to push. Now, I do believe, because I've done it myself, that I can be eloquent in what I'm saying and hold passion and talk my shit all in the same voice. I've done it in the face of y'all plenty of times where I've been able to talk my shit and still be eloquent in what I'm doing and push to a point. So I do believe that we can do that, but I'm not charging Jackie Lacey physically. I'm not running up to her and doing all that physically. I do understand the nature of it and where it comes from. I do want to ask her, like, yo, do you understand where the rage comes from? Because if you, at the bare minimum, if you don't understand it, then I know which way this conversation goes. But if you understand it, then that means you can educate us, the community, on how we can make changes. So that's one main question that I want to ask her. But I think a lot of times, and I will continue to say this, I will continue to say it publicly, is that I do not agree with the way that Black Lives Matter has approached it. one, not being willing to sit down with her. For me, once the opportunity came to me, it was something that I could not turn down. You talked about, there's a conversation with Jackie Lacey. Not that I couldn't turn it down because it was Jackie Lacey. I couldn't turn it down because I know that I have reached to people that want to talk to her. I know that I've been in rooms.
It is in that position. You
Right.
should, and you should want
That's
to
why,
talk
and
to
you
that person.
and you
Absolutely.
should also relinquish the opportunity, not just to yourself, not just say, "Oh, I want to talk to her," but also empower other people to want to talk to her. So me as a community leader, I have to go and say, if this opportunity was forfeited to me, or if it was given to me, there's so many people in the community that may have stronger opinions than I do, that may not have been offered the opportunity, but I have to make sure that they have the opportunity to speak to her.
I think it's irresponsible and unfortunate. I don't agree with the fact that Black Lives Matter is not wanting to sit down with Jackie Lacey, but that's them. That's their organization.
And they're
They
not
wanna speak
wanting
for all
to
black
sit down
people.
with her in terms of their leadership. They want to sit down with her in terms of like tons of people. So
Well,
I
they
want to make
probably
sure that
want
that's
to-
clear.
They probably want to berate her. They
Yeah.
probably want to make
Right.
it
Crucify.
a spectacle of it, any event.
Right.
And if that's what they want to do, okay, whatever.
Right.
That's them. But I don't feel like, obviously, I don't think that all of us, I think there's way more of us that are willing to
Right.
sit down with whoever is in these positions
Right.
and figure out, okay, what's going on?
Mhm.
Why haven't you done this?
Right.
Help me understand. Because
And
there's
that's why I'm publicly at this point willing to say that I don't identify with Black Lives Matter, because there's been too many times where they've said Black Lives Matter has done this, assuming that I identify with that group and saying, well, you're with Black Lives Matter, and this is why we won't sit down with you. So now as a community leader or a person with responsibility in the community, I have to understand I have to detach myself from certain groups or verbally make it known that I'm not attached with them, because I've been met with roadblocks saying we won't sit down with you because of Black Lives Matter. And it just makes sense because my brand is New Black History Makers. It would make sense that New Black History Makers is in alignment with Black Lives Matter.
People will naturally assume that anybody
Mhm.
that
That
is
is black.
pro-black
Yeah.
is going to be aligned
Aligned
with
with
Black Lives Matter.
but we
because the
have to
thing
make
is,
those
there's a
distinctions.
difference
Yeah.
between, like I said, the movement
And the organization.
and the organization.
Yeah. Go
I
ahead,
have no
T.
affiliation, never have had any affiliation with I don't know anything about the organization because I've always
I
done
do,
my own thing.
and I don't like it.
Go ahead.
I want to first say that I want you to understand that I appreciate you, and I realize how knowledgeable you are
Look at
on
this.
several different things that I know about, and because I think what we don't push enough is that black knowledge and black women knowledge and respect for black women.
Right.
I need you because it was no way in shape or form for me to make you feel any type of way of less than.
Right.
But I need you to understand. I comprehend your knowledge. You know, I'm with you with your knowledge and your fight to justice. I'm with Jasmine also. And so I only iterate just a little bit here and there. I'll be quiet most of the time. But when I push a point or when I make take a moment to say something, it's only because I feel like overwhelmed behind it.
Yeah, you're right.
And so when I talk about Black Lives Matter, I'm pro-black.
Oh yeah.
All the way.
She said, "Oh, I'm pro-black."
I'm with us.
Right.
As a people. You
Of
know,
course,
even-
absolutely.
but the weird twist of it is, even when I disagree about certain
Even
stuff,
when we
and so
disagree.
what we fail to realize sometimes as black people,
Mm.
it's like let's disagree in house.
Right.
Boom! Can you please say that again?
Disagreeing.
Let's disagree in house.
I believe
Because
that.
I promise you, the Jews do it all the time.
Yeah. When do you hear Jews going against each other?
It don't happen.
Not outside the house.
That's
don't
great.
happen.
I love
So
that.
I humbly apologize for if I projected or showed that I'm disagreeing with another beautiful black woman, another beautiful black woman. I know the power that you have. I need you to understand that. I know the power that you have. And so even if we disagree, we got a power that's like
Right.
that's
Absolutely.
unmatched. And so what I will say is that the Black Lives Matter, they shown and proved myself to me. When Maya Angelou said, when somebody shows you who they are, believe who they are, I believe you. You got to show me one time. I believe Black Lives Matter. And they're not for us because they constantly,
Well,
they create havoc when it comes to us. Because with us, there should be a solution.
Right.
Like, I don't want to just go on TV and oh, I'm arguing with you. Or, no, I want a solution.
Right.
Well, how many people create, oh, this is what the problem is, this is what, oh, I point this out. They point 5 million things out, but
Because
don't
it's
ever
more
give a fucking
work.
solution.
It's
Yeah.
more work to actually do the solution. And
actually
like
do
I
that.
said with Angela Davis, she said there's no abolition without reimagination. And
Right.
reimagination means if I say abolish the police, what am I bringing to the table
Right.
that says that we're going to have, because that's what the police are, they're first responders that are how am I going to bring more first responders or a new system of
What
first
are we going to
responders?
do?
And I think that's what Black Lives Matter lacks. You cannot abolish a system and say I'm not going to speak with the system and not want to talk to
Right.
the people that are active in that
Right.
system. So I think it's important. These conversations are important, one, because we as Black people are not monolithic. We as Black people are very different. We as Black people are not all Democrats. We're not all Republicans.
Right.
I don't think we as Black people fit into any one of those. Honestly and truthfully, I think there's a blend of us when it comes to the party identity. We fit in
Right.
here and we fit in here,
Right,
but there's no middle.
Absolutely.
So I think we have to really have these conversations and say like, hey, I don't agree with the way that you guys are like you said, backing Jackie Lacey, or I don't agree with the way that Black people have Black Lives Matter. Now we can come to an agreement like we have and just say like, okay, Jackie Lacey needs to do better. Point blank, period. Ain't nobody saying that she don't need to do better. But at the end of the day, I do think there's an irresponsibility when it comes to the way that Black Lives Matter has led it, and it's unfortunate that Black Lives Matter has been the leader of our movements.
I was
Now
gonna
it's
say,
time
that's
for us.
And that's where I'm coming from. Who said that Black Lives Matter? When did they become the
I think by
leaders?
default. I think by default. I
And
think by default.
That I have a problem with.
But then that's when we come in and we sneak in and we say,
Clean it
well,
up.
y'all didn't want to talk to y'all didn't want to talk to
Right.
Jackie Lacey, but we have. And now we're on our 4th and 5th meeting with her where we have all this conversation and now we're making movement. But I think by default, because of society, when society sees one Black group leading something, they assume that that's the leader. And I
Right.
think that's happened with
And
Black
with
Lives
the,
Matter.
and I mean, I think it's only that way because of their name. If their name,
Oh, great
was
marketing.
great.
Great marketing.
y'all got that.
Great marketing.
Yeah, because
Great marketing.
absolutely, y'all
Great
got that
marketing.
because, and I do feel like that's the problem that needs to be discussed. The fact that there is no definition or separation between
Of the
movement
organization and the movement.
organization.
I liked how you distinguished them two.
Listen,
But go ahead,
we
T.
can continue next week. This is
Oh,
so
yeah, yeah,
powerful.
yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna
Bring it
be-
back.
we're
And we didn't have nothing to talk about.
And well, at next
No.
week we would have been on the call with Jackie Lacey.
Alright,
So
that's
the Jackie
even
Lacey call is
better.
gonna
To
happen
follow
Monday,
up.
and we'll be able to talk
But
about what
let's
we
close
did.
it out, but we're gonna definitely continue this conversation. at
DJ
the end of the
Gamaray,
night.
Right.
did you have something that you wanted to
Finish it
say?
off. I got something to say.
Where's my drink? I need
No, I
something.
got
Wait, we're not
I
finished
I need to
yet.
get something
I
on
got
that
DJ.
level, 'cause
No.
DJ Gamaray had something to say.
Oh yeah, go
Come on,
ahead.
Black man.
He was eating Popeyes when he came in here trying
Oh
to
my
push
gosh.
culture.
Come on,
No,
Black man.
the problem we have is just it's the same problem in the Black community, like in Black churches, in Black schools, in Black anything. We have those
Black
that are
churches, that's a whole conversation.
that's the whole conversation. We have those that are just either too radical, too revolutionary, or those that aren't radical enough, you know. And we have to. The radical ones need to, pull these unradical ones in the middle. But then,
There's a
the less radical ones need to pull the radical ones
Yeah.
so that we can make that effective change. Right now, we're seeing that Black Lives Matter as being the radical side, and they are affecting us negatively when it turns into going into these
Policy
spaces
and
and
stuff,
getting these
yeah.
meetings. So that's why we need a little bit less radical approach for things like that to affect the policy.
And I want to say that when you really know what you're talking about and you really have like the internal power, the radicalness that Black Lives Matter has doesn't have to like be watered down.
Right.
That I can
Exactly.
go with the same passion that Black Lives Matter has and the same anger, and I can go and speak and be heard the same way. And that's what I don't understand with how they're misinterpreting their passion, how they're misinterpreting their effectiveness. So I do want to say, like, to those of you guys who may be in spaces that you guys are, if your grandma, well, maybe not grandma, if your aunt is Jackie Lacey and you sitting at the dinner table and you like, yo, I got some issues to talk to you about, like, you don't have to come at her and with a gun and be like, yo, but you doing this, and that, and the other. Like, no, if your facts If you know your facts and your facts are powerful enough, you'll be able to get through to them. And if your effectiveness is on point, you'll be able to get through to them. That's what I want us to understand as black people. Like, we don't have to go and be violent. We don't have to go and completely disrupt. I can disrupt the room with my words and completely disrupt the room and turn that shit upside fucking down. Like, with my fucking words. So I think we need to tap into that power, but I think we just need to move into another element of, like, higher self. Like, how are we going to really affect change? Because we see that the previously has gotten us here to, like, the George Floyd era. So now we want to end that so that we have no more eras at the end. But that's pretty much a wrap. We talked about a lot of things today. Here we talked about Jackie Lacey. We talked about black people. We almost talked about black churches. Maybe that's the conversation for next week. That's another conversation for next week.
Y'all not ready? That might be a whole.
I'm ready for it, so let's do it next week. Once you say it on air, it's real. But shout out to DJ Gamma Ray for joining us today. Ali X, shout out to her. She's always. Have you seen her Juneteenth video? Though?
I know.
It's
I
dope.
know a lot of shit. Y'all need
Right.
to follow me.
Yo, no, follow Ali X for sure. Shout out to T, who's usually on the boards, but she came out to talk to her. She's been doing a lot of community work. A lot of talking to a lot of people that we necessarily wouldn't have talked to.
In my book,
Yes.
if you wonder why
If
they
you
call
wonder,
you
I
nigga,
read it and it's
Say it.
fire.
It is.
It's
If
fire.
you wonder why they
I
call
read
you
it in
nigga
3
by
days.
Alex. Yes, it's an easy
It's
read.
an easy
I talk to you.
read.
I shoot it to you straight. I give you nothing
Yeah.
but facts and information, and it's not boring whatsoever.
There's so many talking points
I
that
do wanna
I've
say that.
developed
Right.
now from reading her book,
Aw,
just
thank
because of
you.
experiences that
Wakes you
she's
up.
had. But there, you'll learn, and that's what I'm saying. Like, our effectiveness. Like, I've talking to dudes that used to be in the Black Panther movement, and the just them talking about their regular life has given me talking points. So when we understand and we learn, because you talk about the abolition, or not you, but people have talked about the abolition of police officers and stuff. Black Lives Matter has a whole story involving the Magic Johnson Park area, basically, where police weren't coming in anymore. And how when they needed somebody to come, they would call the Black Lives Matter office and they would come and deal with stuff. And then people asked them, what about the violent crimes? They said the violent crimes went down because the community respected Black Lives Matter that much. And police officers incite violence oftentimes. That was a real ass story of one of the previous Black Lives Matter people. So now I'm equipped and weaponized to use that story every time someone says, what will we do?
No,
What did I say?
You kept saying Black Lives Matter.
Black Panthers, I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm like,
That's-
wait, they did that?
That's a
I
story.
was like, yo.
I'm sorry.
Right?
That's a story. Hold on.
Maybe
That's a story that I'm able to use because I've sat at the feet of previous Black Panthers.
See? I was like,
Black Panthers, and they let me know about not what they heard about, but their real life experiences. So
Let's not forget the Nation of Islam.
I was
The
gonna
name-
say, but
boom.
that's
You
the
already
now,
know.
but that's the
Let's
Nation
not
of
forget.
Islam today, because
on a
even
regular.
on the Taste of Soul,
Yeah.
they're the ones policing.
We
Yeah.
learned that.
Yeah.
Like the
next
first
week,
female that
next
runs
week
a part
we're
of
talking
that.
about
Yeah, we learned
religion
that.
and blackness, basically.
Ooh,
Spirituality and blackness,
I love it.
the
I
different
can't wait.
spaces that have occupied spirituality and blackness. KO, shout out to you for being on the board. Shout out to the Hub Radio.
You feel like I
It's the
feel
Hub
alive.
Radio Live. We have talked about so many things. Thank you, Hub City Dre, for letting us come on here. I'm Jasmine Renee. This is DJ Gamma Ray. That's Ali X. And that's T. Shout out to RJ that's on the camera. But yeah, we'll be next week and we'll be talking about religion and spirituality. So if Dre has a problem with it,
So be it.
I was going to say
So
fuck
be
him.
it.
But
No. Just say so be it.
We're out.
all right, and we're signing out. Yeah.
And for some, one family. With strong values, strong character, work ethic, and great leadership. I mean, what is there not to love? From black love to brown pride, we watch each other's struggles as we share similar scars from common obstacles. We stand in solidarity, united behind the goal of creating a better quality of life within our shared community. Compton. Hub City Love, Hub City Pride. The Hub Radio.
Hey, it's your girl Coco,
And it's your boy KO.
and we have a special announcement for you guys.
Let them know.
All right, welcome to Coco and KO's Local Taste.
We're here to let y'all know where to go for the best local eateries in the Southern California area and have fun at the same time.
That's right, y'all. We have teamed up to bring y'all the best of the best locals. Okay, so follow us on this journey as we tell y'all who to taste and who to waste.
Whenever you're ready. Don't start shit.
The siren. 45, 47.
45, 47.
45, 47.
45, 47. 45, 47.
45,
47.
I got busted down and beat the pack up.